are returning one of my favorites, and I'm going to, if not this week, for sure next week, I'll be back to doing it every single day to close out the show, and that is something only I would understand. So, in high school, we had to read a book called The Scarlet Letter. If you are unaware of The Scarlet Letter, to break it down quickly here for you, The Scarlet Letter is about a girl or a woman who is branded with an A, and the A essentially, no one in the town will talk to her, none of the adults will speak to her. They tell other kids, hey, stay away from her, stay away from her, stay away from her. And you wonder while you're reading the book, it's like, all right, what does the A stand for? Well, the A stands for adulterer, so she was a woman who was cheating on her husband, which thus made her, in the book, less of a woman, unappealing, unattractive, not talk to her, right? And when you cheat, not just back then, but now, and especially if you cheat at a younger age in high school or college, or if, let's say, for context of this, if you cheat in a small town, right? You cheat on your boyfriend and cheat on your girlfriend, your significant other. A lot of times, a lot of people will decide to not mess with you outside of the person that you cheated with, because they were already in that boat with you, and whether everybody knows you were the person they cheated with or not, they know you. So while everybody else might stay away from you, everyone else might shun you, ignore you, say mean things, that person won't. I believe there's some head coaches who have some scarlet letters. And no, I'm not talking about guys cheating on the wives. I'm not talking about guys doing anything shady. I'm talking about guys that have an NFL scarlet letter. Now, as I say this, that should be a bad thing. But having the scarlet letter is actually helping two coaches, or two teams in particular. I would argue a third, but I'd be a homer if I argued the third. That they worked where they're at, did not work somewhere else, then came back home. Who am I talking about? Well, this one, while he did end up switching teams, probably the most underrated part of any football team in America is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense has been exceptional at points this season. I mean, you could argue they have been better than the offense the majority of the season. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have who? Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. Todd Bowles was originally the Jets head coach, and it was a dumpster fire in New York. And New York got rid of him. No one wanted to give him a head coaching job. He got with Tampa. Now Tampa has they always say there's guys who are great coordinators, but not great coaches. And Todd Bowles is proving he is every bit great coordinator, even though he got the scarlet letter as a head coach. And Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, that entire Tampa Bay team is benefiting off the scarlet letter that Todd Bowles is given. And now he will be their defensive coordinator for years. People aren't even talking about giving him a head coaching job. Then there's the golden child of scarlet letters, who has helped still argue the current NFL dynasty, the New England Patriots, and yes, we're going with Josh McDaniels. Now Josh McDaniels has had one head coaching job, and he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos for about a year and a half. And it started off great. He started off 6-0, and then it went to hell. And it didn't just go to hell as far as on-field performance, or didn't just go to hell as far as his relationship with certain players. It went to hell with the players, on-field performance, general manager, ownership, people that just worked in the building. I mean, people in Denver still to this day hate Josh McDaniels. They just absolutely, you bring up his name, it's you essentially will brand you with the scarlet letter. And because of that, teams have not touched Josh McDaniels outside of, there was the weird, yeah, he's hired, but he's not with the Colts. The majority of teams in the league have stayed away from him because he has a scarlet letter. It was so bad in Denver, and then he even rebranded himself with that Colts situation. And now Bill Belichick essentially has an offensive coordinator who is, if he was anybody else would be a head coach tomorrow. Would have head coaching offers coming out from there'd be teams that already have good head coaches that would be offering Josh McDaniels a head coaching job. But no, he's got a scarlet letter. Bill now has as good as Bill is on defense, Bill has an offensive mind to match, and that he probably has until the day he retires and then Josh McDaniels becomes the Patriots head coach. And I say all that to say Adam Gase is probably going to be fired from the Jets. Adam Gase probably should be fired from the Jets. It's gone sour with ownership, general management, players, on-field production, probably his quarterback, Sam Darnold, at this point. So he's probably going to be fired. And Adam Gase will become a scarlet letter for a team. Adam Gase will become a guy who knows how to do X's and O's, knows how to work an offense, knows how to get quarterback production, and he's going to go somewhere next year, and people are going to say, oh my gosh, why'd you hire Adam Gase? And he's going to do an amazing job as just an offensive coordinator, a scarlet letter branded offensive coordinator. The same way McDaniels does in New England, the same way Todd Bowles does in Tampa Bay. Look out for those guys who are the rest of the league has given up on, but they have a home, be a long-term home with long-term success.